Let's take a look at linear equations using the properties together. And this is solving linear equations. We have a note that goes up at top. It says, at any step, combine like terms and combine numbers. Our first step is to get rid of parentheses. And we do this via the distributive property. Our second step is to get rid of fractions. And we multiply everything by the LCM of all our denominators. Third step, get everything with an X on one side numbers on the other side. And step 4, divide both sides by the number in front of the X. Let's look at our first problem. We've got negative 7x plus 8 is equal to negative 6. First step, get rid of parentheses. Don't have any. Second step, get rid of fractions. Don't have any. Third step, get everything with an x on one side, numbers on the other side. So I'm going to take this 8 over to the right side. Now when you take anything across your equals, the sign changes. So the positive 8 becomes a negative 8. Now our note up at top says in any step combine together numbers. Negative 6 and negative 8 gives us negative 14. And our last step, step 4, divide both sides by the number in front of your x. So we're going to divide both sides by negative 7. And we get x is equal to 2. Negative 14 divided by negative 7 is a positive 2. Let's take a look at our next problem. We got 1/4 x minus 2 is equal to 1. First step, get rid of parentheses. Don't have any. Second step, get rid of fractions. I do have a fraction. It says multiply everything by the LCM of all your denominators. If we only have one denominator, that is our LCM. So multiply everything by 4. When I say everything, I'm talking about what's separated by pluses and minuses. So we'll take 4 times 1/4 x, 4 times a negative 2, and 4 times a 1. Do that, those 4's going to cancel. And we got 1x, or just x. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8, and 4 times 1 is 4. Now third step, get everything with x on one side, numbers on the other. So take negative 8 over, and it becomes a positive 8. Our note up at top said at any step combine together numbers. 4 plus 8 gives us 12. So x equals 12 is our answer. Okay, here we got 9x plus 3 minus 4x equals 23. Now we had note up at top said any step combine together like terms. Here we have 9x minus 4x. Like terms, same variable, the same power. So that gives us 5x plus 3 equals 23. First step, get rid of parentheses. Don't have any. Second step, get rid of fractions. Don't have any. Third step, get everything with an x on one side and numbers on the other. So I'll take 3 over to the right side. Again, anytime you take anything across your equals, your sign changes. So the positive 3 becomes a negative 3. Now our note up at top said any step combine together numbers. 23 minus 3 gives us 20. And last step, divide both sides by the number in front of our x. So the number in front of our x is a 5. So we're going to divide both sides by 5. And those 5's cancel. And we get x is equal to 4. Okay, problem number 4. Got 5, then x minus 2 equals negative 15. First step, get rid of parentheses. I do have parentheses this time. We got a 5 in front of the parentheses, so that indicates multiplication. So we're going to take this 5 here and multiply it times the x and times the negative 2. Well, 5 times x is 5x. 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. Step 2, get rid of fractions. We don't have any. Step 3, get everything with an x on one side, numbers on the other side. So I'll take negative 10 over to the right side. And it becomes positive 10. Anytime you take anything across your equals, your sign changes. It is so easy to follow that rule versus trying to do that little trick they show you back in a pre-algebra type class. Because again, as it gets worse as you get further on, you're moving so many things back and forth across your equals that'll mess you up. Simply just take it across the equals and change the sign. Understanding why you can do that is what the pre-algebra is for. Negative 15 plus 10 gives us a negative 5. Combine together numbers in any step. Last step, divide both sides by the number in front of your x. Well, the number in front of our x is a 5. So, divide both sides by 5. These 5's cancel. And we get x is equal to negative 1. Let's look at our fifth example. Got negative 4 equals 5 minus, and then 7 plus 2y. Well, first step, get rid of parentheses. We do have parentheses here. There is no number in front of the parentheses, but there is always the invisible 1 if there isn't one. So that's like negative 1. So we're going to take negative 1 times 7 and times 2y. Negative 4 carries down, 5 carries down. Negative 1 times 7 is negative 7. Negative 1 times 2y gives us negative 2y. Now we had a note up at top, said any step combine together numbers. 5 minus 7 gives us negative 2. Now our second step is to get rid of fractions. We don't have any. Third step, get everything with y on one side, numbers on the other. It doesn't matter which side you take the y to. I'm going to take the negative 2y over here, and then I'll take the negative 4 over here, just to show two things moving back and forth. So the negative 2y becomes a positive 2y when I take it over there. The negative 4 becomes a positive 4. So anytime you take anything across your equals, your sign changes. Now our note up at top said combine together numbers at any step. Negative 2 plus 4 gives us positive 2. And then divide both sides by the number in front of our y, which is 2. And we get y is equal to 1. Now you would have got the same answer if on this step right here, if you had taken the negative 2 to the left side and then worked it that way. So don't think that you're going to come up with a different answer. It's kind of your preference which side to take it to. Let's take a look at our last problem. We got negative 2 times 5 minus 3x equals 2x plus 8. This book likes to split these into separate sections for the equations. I wish they just did one, because it's the same steps. Just each one looks a little different, but you still follow those same 4 steps. Well, first step, get rid of parentheses. I have a negative 2 in front of this parentheses, so I'm going to take negative 2 and multiply it through, distributive property. Negative 2 times 5 gives us negative 10. Negative 2 times a negative 3x gives us a positive 6x. Equals 2x plus 8. Second step, there is no fractions. Third step, get everything with an x on one side, numbers on the other. So I'll take 2x to the left side, and I'll take the negative 10 to the right side. Anytime you take anything across your equals, your sign changes. So the positive 2x becomes a negative 2x. The negative 10 becomes a positive 10. Combine together like terms at any step. Like terms, same variable, same power. 6x minus 2x is 4x. And combine together numbers. 8 plus 10 is 18. Last step. Divide both sides by a number in front of your x. So we're going to divide both sides by 4. And the 4 is going to cancel here. And we got an x. Now sometimes it doesn't divide into it evenly. You just have to simplify your fraction. If I look at 18 over 4, top and bottom both divisible by 2. 18 divided by 2 is 9. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So our answer is 9/2. And that's the end of that section.